Okay. Good evening, not even evening yet. Good afternoon, everyone. The regular meeting of the Gary Redevelopment Commission is now called to order. Roll call.
Thank you, Mr. President. Commissioner Clemens,
Here.
Commissioner Chambers,
Here.
Commissioner Stalling,
Present.
Commissioner Washington, School Board Representative Mr. Johnson. Let the record show that Mr. Johnson and Mr. Washington are present at this time. Oh, and President Rogie.
Yeah, I'm here.
My apologies.
Okay. Very good. And now acceptance of the meeting agenda.
Move for the acceptance of the meeting agenda for September 18, 2024.
Second.
Moved in second and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers,
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
and President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Certification of record of the executive session held before this meeting. I hereby certify that nothing has been discussed in the executive session held immediately before this open meeting except those items specified and listed in the notice. Do you agree or not agree?
I move for the acceptance of the certification of record of the executive session held before this meeting today.
Second.
Moved in second and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers,
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And now the acceptance of the minutes from the meeting held on September 4th, 2024.
I move for the acceptance of the minutes from the meeting held on September the 4th, 2024.
Second.
Moved in second and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers,
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
and President Rogie.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay. Is there public comment? Public comment on agenda items only. Do we have a public comment? Do we have a public comment?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I'd like to make a public comment too. Do I have to sign in?
No,
Go ahead. You go first. You just got it.
we know who we are.
Huh?
We know who we are.
Okay, is there a camera?
It's over there. I just found out myself.
Am I here? Am I on the
You
Yeah.
are. Yes.
You're on the air.
Yes.
Let me check my hair. Okay, now listen.
Yes.
So, the Redevelopment Commission has a long history in the city of Gary. Most of it very, very bad. In other words, when we look at our city, in 1957, we were one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. When the Redevelopment Commission was established, they started with small projects, moved forward. Pretty soon the city was in full decline. And I like to think that I figured it out so that you won't have to think too hard. But the reason the city has collapsed the way it has is because of actions taken by the Redevelopment Commission. Every single calamity, every single scandal in this city starts with land and starts with property. And we know that the Redevelopment Commission handles all the city's property. And what we find is, like for instance, a few years ago, when GUEA
Agenda items only. Yeah, I'm
but-
sorry,
Actually,
Ms.
sit
Nowacki,
down, bro.
you're not talking about agenda items. So-
Agenda items.
Oh, are you doing anything regarding calamities, scandals,
So,
and criminal activity in
You're,
the city?
Mr. Nowacki, you're
Yeah,
you're
you
dismissed.
just-
No.
You're not.
The reason I sued Redevelopment.
You're out of
actually sit
order.
down.
Out of order. You're
Get him out of here.
You're out of order.
Get him out of here.
What's
Mr.
going on?
Nowacki,
He gotta go.
Mr. Nowacki,
He gotta go.
Mr. Nowacki, yeah, you're.
Wait, how you get to sit down? Why you let him sit down? He basically
Okay, thank you.
interrupted our meeting.
Yes.
He needs to be out of here.
Yes.
Out. Get him out of here.
Yeah, you did.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't
yeah.
disrespect our meeting like that.
Yeah.
Who do you think he is?
Okay.
Who is he?
Oh,
He knows that. He
I
knows.
thought it would be something.
You
So
need to kick him
we're
out.
gonna, yeah, we're,
All right, let's have
Mr.
one.
Nowak, we're gonna
ask
ask
you to
you to leave.
All
We're gonna
right, I
ask,
got the saying order.
yeah, we're gonna,
You gotta go.
so we're gonna ask you to leave, Mr. Nowacki.
Is there
He knows that.
public comment on agenda items only here?
Get security, get him there.
Stranger.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah. So we're gonna ask you to leave, Mr. Nowacki.
We
Oh, okay.
we seem to have a microphone here for you now.
Anyways, I was on the camera, wasn't I?
See?
No. I'm on the record?
No.
You are on the record. Okay. On the record. You were heard. Oh, huh?
Okay.
I think the camera's actually back. You might want to stand here.
No problem.
Okay, so here, you definitely want to reset the room for the next constituent before he's able to speak, that we will not tolerate any unruly discussion and we will not tolerate any disrespect for our commission, our body, our processes when it comes to public comment. Again, we ask for all public comment to state agenda items only, discuss agenda topic items only. And we're ready for our next speaker, Mr. Glenn. You're able to speak.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And one of the things I just want to speak on, I'm sorry, one of the things I want to speak on is the same thing I spoke on last time, and that's regarding the church. As I spoke before the last time, the concerns were that it was a landmark, and I, at that time, reiterated with you guys that I had reached out to the landmark, and I most recently reached out to them again about a week ago and explained to them what was happening, potentially going to happen with the church. They said that nobody reached out to them to identify anything going forward that they would have to have approval for anything to be done to the property. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I have the contact of the people that I discussed this with. I'll be more than happy to share that with you. But more importantly, they said that if you did not contact them in advance about what your procedures are or what your perspective is to do with the property, that they then will possibly file for an injunction against the Redevelopment Commission if they went forward with this without any direct conversation with them or any allude to the fact that they fall under the landmark guides. That's my comment.
Thank you. Okay, any other comment on the agenda items? No more public comment? Then we're done. Is there any presentations? Thank you. Okay. Request for approval of resolution number 7506, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding property located at 762 to 78 Massachusetts Street and authorizing purchase agreement between, I can say now what it is, right? Yeah, because we've already done it. BTW, what is it? BWI.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Harris.
All right. Thank you, President Rogi. Resolution 7506 is a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding property located at 762 through 778 Massachusetts Street and is authorizing a purchase agreement between BWI LLC and the Redevelopment Commission. In August 2024, the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission calls to publish a request for proposals in the newspaper and general circulation in Lake County, Indiana, for the development of a property commonly referred to as 762 through 778 Massachusetts Street. This is completion of the development opportunity for the Palace Theater development, which is on Massachusetts Street, formerly called the Palace Lofts. There was only one bid that was received for this RFP response, and that was BWI, who met the minimum bid thresholds based on the RFP that was put forth.
Mr. President, I move for the passage of resolution number 7506.
Very good.
A second.
And there's been a second. Any discussion? There being no discussion, and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Abstention?
Commissioner Chambers,
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, request for approval of resolution number 7511, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving and authorizing the executive of a professional services execution of a professional services contract with Bailey Edwards to develop of designs for the stabilization of the Gary Methodist Church. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogie. I'm asking the commission to table resolution 7511, more so in regard to making sure that we have alignment with the Regional Development Authority in an effort to appropriately tackle the demolition of this structure. I also want to clarify that we have had initial conversations with our local contact at Indiana Landmarks, considering that this building it poses an extreme safety hazard to the public, particularly 21st century charter elementary school. So the reason why we're tabling this is we want to make sure we're in alignment with the Regional Development Authority and how we approach this project for professional services to ensure that if we can salvage the bell tower of City Methodist Church, that we do so in a way that won't harm the structural integrity of the tower. So until we get that confirmation from the Regional Development Authority, I'm asking that we table this resolution until we receive that letter.
Okay, commissioners.
I move to table resolution 7511.
I second.
Moving second. Discussion. And roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers,
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
and President Rogie.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Motion passes.
A request for approval of resolution number 7512, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving an increase to the non-reverting fund to meet operational expenses for the remainder of the year. Who's going to do it?
Yeah, that'll be me.
Okay.
So thank you, President Rogie. The Board of Redevelopment Commission has previously approved the budget allocation for funds related to the department for the year 2024, and the Commission requires an additional budget allocations to meet its various operations expenses incurred by the department. And there are funds within the non-reverting fund, Fund 2512, in the amount of $600,000, which have not been allocated. And the funds should be allocated to professional services in the amount of $225,000 and to contractual maintenance in the amount of $334,000 in order to cover estimated operational expenses. President Rogue.
Okay.
I move to approve resolution 7512.
I second.
Moving second. Discussion. And roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers,
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
and President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Request for approval of resolution number 7513, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving the RFP for 609 Kentucky Street, 1117 East 6th Avenue, 801 through 7, West 35th Avenue, and 6021 through 37, 6121, and 6131 Melton Road. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogi. So I ask that we amend Resolution 7513 to include 609 Kentucky Street and 1117 East 6th Avenue, and striking 801 through 807 West 35th Avenue, and 6021 through 37, and 6121 and 6131 Melton Road. Outside of those two that we're asking to strike from this resolution, where the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission is authorized to sell, lease, and dispose of property under Indiana Code Section 36714-22. And once the properties have been appraised under the code's procedures, the Gary Redevelopment Commission must publish a notice in accordance with IC Code 53-1. And the Gary Redevelopment Commission will allow for the disposal of several properties to publish notice in order to be able to award them to the highest and most responsive bidder. So again, only discussing 609 Kentucky Street and 1117 East 6th Avenue.
Okay, Commissioners, be specific in your motion.
President, I move for the passage of resolution number 7513 without the addresses of 801-07 West 35th Avenue and 6021-37 Melton Road, 6121 Melton Road, and 6131 Melton Road.
And I second.
Moved and second. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
And President Rogan?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. We're down to director's comments.
Okay, thank you, President Rogi. So I wanted to provide a public notice or public PSA regarding 3838 Broadway. We are actively demolishing that structure. If you're not familiar with the address by name, this is the former Harvey department store immediately north of Roy Boys. Like you, like myself, cringe driving along Broadway, seeing the existing conditions of that structure. That roof has collapsed over several years ago, and over the course of this year, I think we've all recognized the severe deterioration of the facade of that structure in an effort to ensure safety of both motorists and pedestrians along Broadway. Our commission, our body has acted in an effort to remove that hazard to the public, but we're definitely grateful for all of those who were patient with us, especially the Roy Boys community, a long establishment that's been in the community for quite some time, being patient with us as we organize and determine the best way in an effort to demolish the structure. If you drive by Broadway, currently in the next few days, you're going to see some hand demolition taking place, just considering the intricate level of the close proximity to Roy Boys and making sure that we avoid any risks or damage moving forward. This demolition is going to take some time considering the nature of the structure. It's going to take roughly between 30 to 45 days to actually bring the building down in its entirety. But just wanted to make sure the public was aware, if you weren't aware, that we are actively taking precautions in demolishing that structure to avoid the hazard that it posed to the public. But we're very grateful. You could be a little bit relieved that we're actively taking care of it now, as opposed to there being a major incident. So very grateful of that. Outside of that general demolition, understand that I know that the public has questions about downtown, where we are in that process with demolition. In the downtown area. Just want to reassure the public that we're doing our due diligence with our environmental studies that need to take place before any structure can be demolished. We procured a lot of that with the grant that we have with CWAG that we were awarded late last year. It's been great working with the Indiana Finance Authority and IDEM to help us and helping make sure we do our due diligence to prepare to demolish these structures in a monumental way for downtown Gary. So as we work with the Regional Development Authority as they secure their contractor, understand that we are still pushing and targeting for a lot of major significant demolitions to take place in fourth quarter of this year. So there will be a significant impact seen in downtown Gary in the next few months. We just ask the public to be patient. There is work happening behind the scenes, but it's a very exciting time that we live in. There are resources and opportunities that we're really lining up to gear downtown Gary to move forward in an expeditious way. So I just wanted to be able to provide general context of what's happening there. Understand that we had an opportunity as a body to dispose of the old McDonald's near Screaming Wills. It used to be a Chinese restaurant in the recent past. We're actively waiting to close on that property, getting some due diligence done with NDOT. But there will be activity seen there. There will be activity seen at the Speedway. We're actively in conversations with Speedway, who's the owners. The parent company is now 7-Eleven. If you've seen or noticed, you have seen the tanks being removed and the actual apparatuses that serve for gas pumps. Those were recently removed, and we're actively working with that team to make sure that their demolition contractor is licensed with the city, so that property can be demolished. So there's going to be headway there. And then we're working with Duncan, and they're getting their building permit aligned in an effort to see activity with the demolition of that structure for the new construction of their Dunkin' Donut facility. So there will be momentum and activity that'll be a visible difference on the US 20 corridor within the next few months. And that's just the very beginning. So it's a very exciting time we're living in. And also understand that moving forward, I've asked my team and my staff to prepare for educational opportunities with various agencies to help the public when it comes to working with how they can interface with the Lake County Recorder's Office. Not many residents understand that we have visibility, or we have access to the Recorder's Office here in City Hall once a week. So we're going to be able to allow the Lake County Recorder's Office to explain more of those services to the public. And we're working with other institutions, financing institutions, to help our small business community understand how they can access capital, because there are resources out there. We want to be able to utilize our meetings as a platform to help educate and inform the public. So excited to be able to share that docket of learning opportunities and presentations in the near future, but just understand that that's where we're going to be heading out through the quarter 4 of 2024. That rounds out my comments, President Rogi.
Okay. How about commissioners' comments?
I would just like to say that I am ecstatic with the demolition that's taking place, both locations, downtown in Miller and on Broadway 1, because of residential. I have a residence in the Miller area as well as the business. And also I see Markel just came into the room, just to thank him for the cleanup that you're doing in the city. Because as a commissioner, as I pursue other businesses to come to the city, one of the things they comment on is the way you're cleaning up Gary. So I wanted to publicly thank you for that, because it really helps us in inviting people to come to Gary. Thank you.
Okay.
Just want to make, I agree 100% with Ms. Chambers. I had just a quick question. I know you brought up about Speedway. They're going to be demolishing that gas station. Do we get any type of report from IDEM that says, this ground is clean, or what can it be used for? Because a lot of times gas stations, cleaners, a lot of those places get demolished. Their ground is not clean, and you don't get a clean report. There's only certain type of businesses you could put on that piece of property after a gas station has been there. Do we have, I'm pretty sure you have contacts with IDEM to make sure we get some type of report that will let us know what can be done with that piece of property, so you'll know who you're going to be reaching out to try to utilize that piece of property.
Sure, no, that's a very good comment. So from what was shared with me for that owner, 7-Eleven, is that typically there have been entities that have expressed interest in redeveloping that site as a gas station, but this entity wants to be responsible, and they remove all of the risk because they were the previous owner. They don't want to have any issue with that property moving forward. So before they handle any of that kind of disposal, they have to coordinate with IDEM. We can definitely get the reports, but it's their intention to offer a clean site for future development and actively putting that site out for sale. But we can definitely get that for backup just for our own edification. But that'll definitely be due diligence that any future owner would want to have to ensure that they have a clean bill of health for the site development moving forward. Yep.
Okay. Mr. Clemens? Very good. Our school board representative is not here. So that leads us right into, how about agenda items for next board meeting?
No comment.
Okay, that leads us right into adjournment.
I move for the adjournment of this meeting.
And I second.
And roll call.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Chambers.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
And President Rowe.
Yes.